What is up, guys? Okay, so today we're going to work on the Jimmy. I've been having some issues with the alternator, and now it's not charging. So my plan is to take alternator that looks like this off, which is the old school alternator, and throw on this alternator, which is off like a 2006 Envoy. It's actually the truck that we took the cylinder heads off of. In the Junkyard video you probably had just watched. I went back to the Junkyard, I grabbed it. As you can see, it's bigger, which means it's probably higher amperage, which is good. The only issues is I have to switch it over from a serpentine to a single pulley, which shouldn't be a problem. And as you can see here, this is kind of a straight across bolt pattern, so to speak. And this one is straight across, but like this. So hopefully we're going to be able to retrofit it. It'll be a better alternator. It'll charge better. It's, like I said, I'm sure it's more amperage. It'll definitely be a better alternator for the truck. Those old ones are getting hard to find parts for. I tried to get a rebuild kit for it. I mean, I can get them online, but no one locally seems to carry them anymore. So I figured I'd switch up to a newer style if I can. So let's get to work. You guys don't know, this is my 76 Jimmy. So I'm gonna get rid of this alternator here, this chrome one, and hopefully put that new one on. So I'm gonna yank this off and then we'll test fit the new one and see how it fits and what mods we're gonna have to do to make it work. Got the old alternator off. Now I'm gonna switch the pulley from this one to this one, and hopefully that goes good, and then we'll have to test fit on the truck. I actually did shoot some video at the Junkyard, but it ended up not turning out. But I paid $35 for the alternator, and let's hope it works. Alright, so I switched the alternator, pulley over, no big deal, went right on there, same diameter hole and everything. So now it's this style. I could, if I had to, space it out a little bit with a washer. Oh yeah, I also bought high build primer for the GTO, so the GTO is going to be getting reprimed again shortly and getting blocked. I'm actually on holidays right now before we go to Power Cruise. So hopefully in the next few days I might be able to actually get some progress done on the GTO. So let's take this alternator out and go test fit it. Oh, this thing is heavy. Okay, so these two mounts are very similar to the original mount that goes on the bottom bolt hole. So I'm hoping I can just use that like so. So actually that's pretty good. Like that. So it needs to be spaced a little different, which is fine. So the issue that we're going to run into here is that I have this bung here, but it needs to be over here. So the only other thing I could do is I can try using this hole down there and then see what that does. So we'll give that a try first. And I mean, I could ditch this bracket and make something. A bracket that goes from there to there. That would be no big deal. But let's try switching around and see what happens. So I actually like that a lot better. Let me show you. So putting it on like that puts the main plug here and the screw, this one here, the main power up top, which is nice. And it also pushes this down inside here instead of being way up here. So pretty much I might just have to modify this bracket a little and then make a bracket that comes off of here, goes up to here, and then still gets bolted to this chrome bracket here, which would be perfect. And then I just have to put a spacer behind there. Like I have this spacer here that used to be behind the alternator, so it goes here. Now I'll have to cut it down and put some of it on this side to space the alternator properly. But I think all in all it should be pretty simple to get it on there, and hopefully she's gonna work good. I mean, it doesn't look as nice as the chrome one. I'm gonna clean it up and probably paint it and stuff, but it'll definitely charge better, I'm sure. Alright, so I took that tube and I cut this much off. So maybe this little piece will fit, or I need to space it, and this will fit on the other side. So let's go try that. Here you can see the spacers that I came up with. So there's that one there, that one there. I ended up having to add a washer back because it was a little, belt wasn't really lining up good, but I think it lines up pretty good now. So for the most part it's on. So now all I got to do is go from this bolt down here up to here. So I think if I just make a bracket that goes up, then it'll still have adjustment. So I can still basically bolt that on and then be able to move it back and forth. So I'm going to figure out what I can use for material, and we'll make something for that. All right, so I got this chunk of aluminum. I just measured out 4 inches by 1 inch. I'm going to cut this out, and that's going to be the little adapter bracket. All right, so I got that thing made up. So, I mean, it's not on there all the way, but you can see here, I'll pull it out. So there's that bolt. Then this bolt bolts it to the alternator. So a pretty simple piece. And of course, I could put a longer belt, slide this back more, you know, but shouldn't matter. So I'm going to pull the alternator off, clean it up, bolt this to it, and put it back on. I sprayed some Adams wheel cleaner on there, and look at it. It actually turned like purple. Attacking the dirt, I guess, and the aluminum. Let's see how this cleans up. Well, I cleaned it, but not as good as I wanted to clean it. Still got dirt on it. Do a little more cleaning on it first. All right, so I got the adapter piece that I made bolted on there, and now we're gonna put it on the truck and see how everything fits. All right. So first things first is this bolt and this little spacer. Then the alternator. Okay. Belt. Belt on. Tight. Okay, so then we just put this bolt through here like what it had before. If I can get the nut on from the back side. Just the bottom one is too tight. I just need to. There we go. Nice and tight. And that's it. All we gotta do now is hook the wires up. So that's pretty simple. And now I dropped it on the ground. Great. All right, so on most LS's, the ones we've dealt with anyways, this plug here only has 1 wire coming out, and that just goes to your key power. On this one, it seems to have 2. It looks like one of them goes to the ECM and one of them goes to, like, I guess the light on the dash type of thing, or the gauge or whatever. So I figured out that you pretty much just hook both of these to the key power. I tried hooking just the red, nothing, just the gray, nothing, and both of them, and then it generates the field in the alternator. So I'm gonna hook this up, and then we'll test her out again and make sure it's charging good. I got it all hooked up, and what I ended up doing is I just put a spade connector on these 2 wires and I put them into the original plug. I figure this way I'm not cutting up the original harness. I taped it all up. If I wanted to go back to a normal alternator, I was on the road somewhere and I couldn't get this one or whatever, I can still change it back, because really I didn't modify this or this. I just made this alternator work on this setup. So let's fire it up and see what happens. I'll hook this up. Oh, my ground fell off. I'm trying to hold it in here so I can show you guys. There you go, like 13.7, and that's with the electric fuel pump and the fan going. So it's definitely charging, and that's awesome. All right, guys, so there you go. That's retrofitting a new LS style alternator to an old Chevy small block. Hopefully that guy's helped you out if you guys are trying to do this, and if not, well, I'm glad you watched anyways. So like always, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll check you later.